Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back, everybody.
Hope everybody is doing awesome out there. And please do subscribe both channels, as each one has unique videos. As we see yesterday, we were talking all about Georgia Guidestones a little bit today, too. It's still a big buzz out there. And, well, we'll get into that. It does feel it's just another sign of the times.
It's a huge sign of the times, though, and something that, a lot of people are watching, as they should. It's important.
And over on Evolutionary, we were talking about the world waking up. And, a lot of people are starting to question things more, which we should have been doing for decades, really. And, why, for instance, did Biden send some of our strategic reserves to his buddy Xi Jinping over in China? And perhaps it's just that. It's his buddy.
Yeah.
Who does number 2 work for? I'm not sure who number 2 does, but I think I know who 46 does.
Indeed.
Absolutely. The world is waking up. A popular uprising against elites has gone global. This has been foreseen, as we have been saying. And, it's really spreading. And now it's starting to be absolutely mainstream. It's the apocalypse, after all. It's the great unveiling. Everything. Everything is getting unveiled right now. This is from the UN. This is a post from the UN. The benefits of world hunger. Wait. Not the horrors of world hunger? Not the tragedy of world hunger? You mean the benefits of world hunger? We sometimes talk about hunger in the world as if it were a scourge that all of us wanted to see abolished, viewing it as comparable with plague or AIDS. But that naive view prevents us from coming to grips with what causes and sustains hunger. Hunger has a great positive value to many people. Indeed, it's fundamental to the working of the world's economy. Hungry people are most productive people, especially where there's the need for manual labor. We, in developed countries, sometimes see poor people by the roadside holding up signs saying, "We'll work for food." Actually, most people work for food. It's mainly because people need food to survive that they work so hard, either in producing food for themselves, in subsistence level production, or by selling their services to others in exchange for money. How many of us would sell our services if it were not for the threat of hunger? Yeah, this is from the UN, and this is, again, kind of exposing how they really think, how the elites think. Gotta keep them hungry.
Gotta have them in that space where they're needy, or they're willing to trade, some of their things for something else. It's always about keeping them in that spot where they're anchored and under control.
Absolutely. You gotta have that photo ID. Not to vote. Oh, of course not. Not to vote. Yeah, no. But for everything else, yes, you must have a photo ID, 2 forms of identification, 3 forms. You might have to have an ouchie if you want to leave your state, your country, your section of the world, travel by plane, maybe travel by train. When we say ouchie, you guys know what we're talking about. And, there's going to be this pass and that pass. And, you're going to have to be fully up to date for this, fully up to date for that. Definitions of those things will change as time goes on. This is it's gotten to be, maybe, did they overplay their hand? Did it get too obvious to where you're waking up too many of the masses? Is that really what's going on here? There's a lot of people, when we've looked at the comments on the Georgia Guidestones, that feel maybe the Guidestones weren't a negative. Maybe they were looking towards a positive future. And yeah, living in harmony with nature and balance is good. That's, one of the things it says there. But, the question on what happens to the 7.5 billion of the 8 billion people that are on the planet, if we're only going to be left with 500 million, what happened to the other ones? That's the big question. How did the population get that low? Because even with the population decline that's now happening, and we could debate whether that's happening naturally, there's a lot of people now that are not thinking this is a natural decline at all. Something quite different than that. but it would still take forever. I mean, it'll take hundreds and hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years to get down to that level, unless something major happens. And we have had major things happening, and we have the threat of many more major things happening.
We do. We have a lot of things going on where we need to prepare for. But what I really want to do is look at all of these things that we might be facing and make sure we have like a positive attitude toward it, because that's what's getting us places, is keeping that positive attitude, working with other people, having this feeling that things are going to go our way. It's the coming together of everything that is most important. And in the coming together, what we manifest is a huge crack in the foundation of the elites. And that's exactly how I see it. And we just need to keep going.
Keep people hungry. Keep people eating mealworms, the hornworms, those nasty things that eat your tomato plants. Keep them eating anything, just, keep them out of the way of the elites. By the way, there was a Texas natural gas pipeline explosion. The area was evacuated. As you can see, this was a pretty massive blaze, which is put out before it can spread to other buildings. This was in Fort Bend County, Texas. There were evacuations. Again, we've had so many explosions, so much infrastructure, so many different pieces of either the food chain or energy being hit in so many ways. And we have Texas Governor Greg Abbott invoking invasion powers, authorizing Texas National Guard and Texas Department of Public Safety to return illegal immigrants to Mexico. And so since 2017, I've been telling you guys in videos that the U.S. is going to break up. The U.S. is going to break up, all the way since we started this channel in 2017. Now the mainstream's talking about the U.S. breaking up. This is all part of their plan. It's been part of their plan. And we could see it. Now, there's two sides, there's two edges to this sword. They're doing it basically so that it'll be easier to take over, and so that there'll be chaos here when there is a direct confrontation and Russia and China and other countries come in to literally take over the U.S. and split it up into other segments, smaller segments. But the reality is, again, the federal government is the problem. The federal government's enormous. It's not what it was supposed to be. And so having the states have their own individual powers, make their own decisions, really is better than a big federal government. Again, if you break something down into smaller and smaller parts, you have a more of a likelihood of actually getting change in some of those smaller parts. And if that change comes and there's, somewhere just around the corner that makes you happy, maybe you just move to that new neighborhood and it might only be an hour away. Not like, what goes on right now. And the states, they have different ideas on how things are supposed to be run. None of us are the same. We're all unique, and that's a beautiful thing. Source, God with the big G, created us to each be a unique version. We don't have to have one size fits all. Anybody that tells you you have to conform to any one particular way of thought, tradition, religion, anything, political party, dealing in those absolutes, as we could call from Star Wars. Only a Sith would deal in absolutes. That's something the dark side does, because each one of us is unique. So we should have our freedoms, and they play on that. So the freedoms that are most important to some on the left are not necessarily the most important to some on the right. So if you threaten somebody to take their freedoms away with what's important to them, of course they're going to get defensive. And before you know it, you have people just basically at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I've been saying for a long time, this relationship is like one big, bad, covert narcissistic relationship with us and the controllers. And this is why we really have to stand back, stand our ground, mean what we say, and make some changes. They're going to make it very difficult. They're going to make it very uncomfortable, but we have to be ready for that, ready to walk through the discomfort, because on the other side lies our sovereignty, and it's really well worth it.
Absolutely. So you have the states doing things that the government is saying they can't do. This is it. It's not long now. The breakup is really starting now as we are watching it. And it will take time, but I think it'll be at least complete in the sense that we will not view the United States as the same entity just within a couple of years. Next year and the rest of this year, they're going to be years of unprecedented change. As we see this headline again, these orders, by the way, were unprecedented, empowering the Texas National Guard to return migrants back to the border. So, Biden had just basically struck a law that was put in by 45, and, as far as the stay in Mexico law. And so again, the states they're on their collision course. They are going to break up. There's no keeping this together. Russian official Volodin threatens to reclaim Alaska after the sanctions. So, we've spoke about this numerous times. We spoke about this briefly over on Evolutionary this morning. Again, the groundwork is being laid for the justification of when they do come to attack the U.S. on U.S. soil. And they do decide to break up the United States, and China take this part, Russia take that part, and who knows who else will take whatever part. This is all part of what's been planned. And here we see Andy Biggs out of Arizona saying Biden won't unleash American energy because of environmental concerns, but he's just shipping our oil to China, the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases. Talk about hypocrisy. Well, that's because 46 doesn't have the same agenda. He's serving the agenda of the Trojan horse. Trojan horse. He is a Trojan horse. And so he's just helping the dismantling. And it's all part of that plan. Who does number 2 work for again? We don't know, but we do know about 46. It's a new little mantra there, unfortunately. But it is part of the plan. It's all got to kind of come down. Everything has to be broken down into smaller pieces. And even, countries that might be doing the attacking, they're going to face the same unrest inside as well. As ultimately, all these power structures we see on the planet, they all have an expiration date. And that expiration date is coming close.
Indeed. And how easy is it just to get a senile old man to play a part and give him a pen so he can make the way for other people?
Senile or sly like a fox?
One of those two.
Yes. So we have that petition for Clarence Thomas's removal getting over 1 million signatures. Yeah, all the institutions are going to fall apart. And look to Sri Lanka, where there's absolute chaos going on right now. People, again, cannot get gas. They can't get just basic needs. And that's really a tragedy. But again, we have to be realizing this could happen in every single country across the globe. Every country. And here we see out of RT, which again is Russia today. So the U.S. eyes direct war at Russia. So says Belarus. And Belarus has been supporting Russia and will be an ally. As again, the sides for that big conflagration are basically kind of getting cemented right now. Onset of special operation indicates shift to cardinal breakup of U.S. world order, so says Putin. He also made a statement today saying that the operations in Ukraine, were not even really the beginning. Just kind of saying, no, that was really nothing. And it was just something that maybe some thought was interesting. So I haven't seen her before, Lisa Lazuli, astrology. But this was something that I happened across, and it reminded me that we have another date. We talked about February 22nd, 2022 as the initial date of the Pluto return. There is a second return that happens July 12th. And, that's not far away. And again, Pluto return is all about remaking something. And here we go from astrostyle.com. The American Revolution 2.0 is in our stars. And it's already begun. Absolutely. And this again is talking about the Pluto return and what's ahead, because there is another date again in 2023. What everything is pointing to is a complete remaking of the system. Everything is breaking down. Everything is going to be kind of put out there. Now, there'll be those that want to deny and or say, I had no idea this was going on. I had no idea. How could I possibly know? You should have known. People should have known. But again, a lot of times people can't process the truth. It's just, they're in denial. There is this deniability. Like, you don't want to face something, like something you believed in has actually been completely crooked the whole time, or a complete fabrication, especially if you've donated a lot of time and energy invested in, a lot of emotions. It's tough to face that, everything we've been taught's been a lie.
That is, it's really tough. A lot of people simply cannot, and that's actually like a trauma response when you just simply cannot see something. But when we have these planets doing what they're doing and all these twos going on there at 22 degrees, I mean, it's just crazy. But when it happens to be dealing with planets, they do control our chakras. Our chakras are tied into these planets, and when these planets make moves, we make move. We make moves. We're all one. So it's like, it's something that cannot be helped. Change will occur. Now, is there a way to control this change? Sure, there's a way to control the change, but what's going to happen is everything's going to change. So I think we're in a position now where we can kind of guide this ship ourselves toward our own sovereignty. I really, really feel strongly about this, and that's why I just keep my heart right there, and I keep your eye on the ball, keep your eye on the prize.
Absolutely. And so, we want to share this with you guys. And no, this is not from the Hunter Biden playbook. So don't take this the wrong way. But in 2022, with this time period we're talking about, well, the North Node is going to align with Uranus. And that's going to happen in the sign of Taurus. So that's some serious lessons. When the North Node is aligned with Uranus, there's serious lessons to be learned. And, and we're not talking about Hunter Biden here.
No.
No. And so what are we going to see? Absolute, complete changes in stability, in society, in the way things are done, in systems. Yeah, it's a remaking of everything. And again, it's what we're seeing is the curtains being pulled, and we're seeing the Great Wizard of Oz for who it really is. And in so many ways, we haven't really seen them. As I read the comments, and people will say, okay, so, all right, if it really isn't 46 making these just bad errors because he's senile and there's somebody controlling him, okay, and it's not Obama, the little wheels are going, and of course, I know they haven't listened to us from the beginning then, because, the truth is something that you got to sit in a chair for.
Well, ultimately, it looks like there's going to be flare-ups with Uranus.
Yes. And thankfully, it's not like when we first had the plague upon the land out there where there was a TP shortage.
Thank goodness, right.
Yes, at this moment.
Yeah.
But hey, we have a bidet anyway.
Hooray!
It's just
We're in the big time, kids.
Oh, these potty jokes, We need that.
Yes.
But what we really want to say is that what's coming is the birth of a new way of thinking. And again, if you guys are listening to this, especially here on EEARTS, where you guys are, focused on the spiritual side of things, and there's just so much happening right now that there's just so much to cover every day, but we still want to keep that spiritual side, because that's the most important side. This human experience is but a temporary one. And it's a learning experience for the soul. So when we look to the Hopi prophecy, and we see it say, when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. Not the new Green Deal, not in a bogus way where it's all about carbon emissions. No. No, it's different. They will be known as the warriors of the rainbow, and not that type of rainbow either. But again, we have to unite through our differences. Every single thing that you could think of, they've twisted and distorted. When we look at key dates in time, think about how horrible World War II was, but then how excited everybody was to go back to normal. This was that famous kiss that happened. I believe it happened in Times Square. I know there was a giant statue of this kiss. They didn't know each other. Oh boy, they didn't know each other. It was just, a sailor getting home after World War II, happy that he was still alive, and he kissed the first pretty girl he saw. And so they built a statue of that down in Sarasota. How about when the wall came down and people of Germany were united once again after, many decades apart? It was a big time that we felt, maybe this is a turning point. Maybe things are going to really change here. And so, as Ozzy said, heirs of a Cold War. Yes, we were heirs of the Cold War. And now this Cold War, which seemed to have gone away, seemed like there was a Western victory, and now all of a sudden it seems like the war is returning, but it's going to be a hot war. And again, it's going to be a war that they are going to have to pull out of their hat in order to keep the attention away from them, because all eyes are turning on the power brokers. And the walls did come down, and we saw people face off against tanks over in China, and the system is still there. Again, we have a ways to go, but we have to be brave, just like this individual was brave, and many people are brave, and many people are speaking out all over the world. Every different country you could think of, people are saying enough is enough. And at this point in time, it hasn't even hit them the extent of the tragedy that has unfolded on the planet. That's only starting to be brought into the consciousness of many of the people here. When that's fully known, you think you've seen we haven't seen anything yet. We have not seen anything yet. This is just the bare beginning of what is coming. And Georgia Guidestones, by the way, I saw people making the comment that this was the one that was written in Sanskrit as well as a few other languages that was hit with that strike. And yeah, they all got bulldozed down. Georgia Guidestones, so many people are taking this as a sign. Some positive, some negative. Again, it's a matter of perception. As we see, something that was talked of for so long is gone. It's gone. But so many things are going to be gone. They're going to be swept away in the outrage of the awakening of the people of this planet.
Mm-hmm. And when the earth is ravaged and the animals are dying, a new tribe of people shall come unto the earth from many colors, classes, creeds, and who by their actions and deeds shall make the earth green again. They will be known as the warriors of the rainbow. Now, Mike did another video with this about warriors of the rainbow, and I just felt it happen again. If you are drawn to this information, if this is giving you chills, if this is giving you butterflies, it's actually activating your aura. You're a star seed, it's activating your energy body. So I just thought that was really, really curious. When Mike did it, I could see the energy bodies light up, and I did it and I see energy bodies light up. So just understand, we have a very important job to do, and we're here to make change, and we're going to follow through. And our kids are really going to benefit. Our children are going to have wonderful lives.
And, we have to protect ourselves in these days in every way possible. There is a lot of chaos out there. There's so many videos of people just going crazy, people taking advantage of situations. We were just looking at one where people jumped over like a Burger King or something like that. They jumped over the counter harassing the workers, like 3 of them. And one of the workers came back with, I don't know, it looked like something from the deep fryer, and started beating them over the head with it. And, it was just absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. This is happening all over the place now. And crime is going through the roof in so many areas. It's up 30, 40, 50%. And, it is going to be a dangerous time as everything unwraps and devolves. because before it can evolve to the next letter, the next stage, it's all got to basically unravel first, and we're watching that unraveling. The next couple of years, the next 2.5, 3.5 years, are probably going to be some of the most dangerous years on the planet. So that's not sugarcoating anything. I wish that things could go much smoother, and the quicker, again, that we wake up the masses, the better it's going to be. The more deeply entrenched these beings that are in control of the situation are able to keep themselves, the less of humanity there's going to be around in the long run.
Well, remember, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Absolutely. I thought this was nice. Born to set you free, to bring the law of harmony, when unification is the path that be. Dream and know we care because we fight for you. Until the end of times we walk on home with you. Talk, my brothers and sisters, tell me your heart so pure, I will bend like the rainbow to bless all of yours. And so that's from Rainbow Warriors of Prophecy blogspot. And, again, the guides that are on the other side, they are so pulling for us. Just simply call on them. Just call on them. We basically, at different times in our lives, we've drawn the attention of the power structure, and they've lashed out at us in many different ways. And, again, we could feel their eyes on us, as we are definitely catching a lot more people's minds, and people are waking up and using their willpower and using the power of intention to alter this reality. And Cindy feels that, from what she's gotten from the guides, that we really have made a big, big impact on altering this reality. Every one of you that are part of this family, you're helping to alter this reality. Like we had said yesterday, just have a simple mantra. May all the people of the earth be free. May the darkness be removed. Just something like that. Just take it so simple and just repeat that and put that intent out and just call on the benevolent beings in the higher densities in a way that you see fit. I mean, if you believe there is a creator of this universe, well, then just say, may the original plan of the creator of this universe be restored. May peace be restored to earth. Something so simple. Again, there are many beings that have, been made to be the creator of this universe, but they're not. You could just tell by their energy. And again, if one had a developed pineal gland, and you will in the time that's coming up, because this is what we are like when we're outside of the Kali Yuga. Our psychic abilities are just normal abilities. That's usually part of the makeup of who we are. It's only in the Kali Yuga that they're not functioning. If they were functioning, we would know right off the bat when something is total BS and not true. And so, that's where true discernment comes from. It doesn't come from guessing you got the right dogma. Guessing that somebody else got it right. No, you just know for yourself because you could see right through it.
Mm-hmm. And when we start working through our heart chakra, we start talking with one another through our emotions, things are really, really going to change.
Absolutely. The rivers would run clear again. The forest would be abundant and beautiful. The animals and birds would be replenished. Conservation, all that is beautiful would become a way of life. Respect and understanding the oneness of everything on the planet. Again, that interwoven tapestry that we are all a part of. It's beautiful, the web of life. And there's other beings that are helping us this whole ride. Whether you believe you have spirit guides, whether you don't believe in spirit guides or guardian angels or what have you, they're there either way, whether you believe in them or not. Everybody has them, but not everybody might be able to hear them. And again, it's the choices and the decisions we make as we go through this life. If we succumb to the beast system, then yes, we definitely will lose some of those innate abilities, and we'll start to slowly lose our touch with source, our feeling of source that we can detect within us and within everything around us. And that's really sad, but that's where these beings come from. They are separated from source to a much higher degree than the average person on this planet. And that's because of the choices that they have made. And so, that does take a lot of the love away from things and the compassion away from things. Because when we look at Source is full of love and compassion and yet allows free will. So we have the choice to follow whatever path we want from Source. Of course, these beings have hijacked that and are trying to get everybody to just basically serve their purposes.
Right. It's something what they do is they work through policy and procedure, but that's really going to change. We're going to start working through our heart chakra, through our emotions, being able to read and understand each other, being able to read and understanding the waters, everything around us, the trees, the plants, and we're all just going to be able to understand one another, and harmony will come rather quickly when that happens.
They will move over the earth like a great whirling rainbow, bringing peace, understanding, and healing everywhere they go. In the age to come, the age that will not be a dark age, that will not be a Kali Yuga, healing will be something that is just natural and spontaneous. It'll just be basically a matter of keeping your feet on the ground, drawing up that life force with your intent, sending it where you need to send it in your body, and allowing your body to heal. Again, we won't be poisoned intentionally. We won't be eating toxins intentionally. We won't be taking in nanotech and GO. You know what we mean. All these things are part of a sick system, and this sick system is dying, and it only has but a short time left in the bigger scheme of things. But it will be a time that we have to move through in a very, very aware and cautious way, while we most definitely share our peace and support those that are sharing their peace with the world.
We just got to really back each other up and support one another.
As always, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Check out Medicinal Foods, link at the top of every video. Use coupon code EEA. As always, God bless. Namaste.
Namaste.